Okay, it says live again. Ben, talk. Everybody hear Ben now? Wait, he's not talking. It doesn't help.
I don't know if they
doesn't help.
watched it.
Doesn't help when you don't talk. Oh, nobody's back on yet. They'll jump on, hopefully.
It went straight to Ben's top 10, so they're probably
they're enthralled by that, probably.
Really into Ben's top 10s right now.
Dang. I got you. All right, anybody hear Ben this time? Some people are on. Ben, he's not talking. Talk.
I don't know.
Talk. Talk like you mean it. I hear him.
Is this the old one or the new one?
I got to test. We are back. Andrew's back. Ben, talk. Ben, are you talking?
I'm trying to figure out what the heck's going on. What do you want?
Ben's there now.
Glasses on.
Good. Okay. All right. Fantastic. Sorry about that, guys. Not sure what happened. Maybe I should have had a beer before the show. Probably would have helped. Okay. Hey, I got to jump into something here real quick. Okay. Here I got to jump into something real quick here because it came up as a Facebook memory, which I didn't remember it was this day. So, let me see. 5 years ago.
Now we're good.
5 years ago on this date, this particular day, April 17th, was probably my most favorite memory moment that I've had in my 10 plus years working the job I've been working now, because that's when the Green Bay Packers 10th annual tailgate tour came and hooked up with us and worked on a house project with us, which was super fun. And I got to meet, okay, I'll tell you who I got to meet. I got to meet Andrew Corliss. Okay, he's a decent guy. Got to meet Casey Hayward, who we didn't know was good at that time. Then he went to San Diego and became good. And I got to meet one of my favorite Packers of all time, my favorite guys of all time, Micah Hyde. Yes. I met Micah Hyde.
Micah Hyde is the best.
We love Micah Hyde.
Micah Hyde's the best.
I got to talk to him. He was talking, we worked on building some garden beds and some other stuff, dismantling some things. He swung my sledgehammer. Still haven't washed that sledgehammer handle ever since then. And no, but actually it was super cool.
Is that a thing?
No.
Do people wash their sledgehammer or handles?
Well, these days you probably should. If you let other people touch your sledgehammer, wash the handle. Anyway, Eggus has got to go get Burks down. Eggus, you're going to miss the rest of the story. But anyway, the thing was also they had those three current players. They had the three alumni players, which were Antonio, drop the ball, Freeman, but sometimes catch it. The one and only Gilbert Brown, who was nice and cuddly, and Bill Schrader, one of my other favorite Wisconsin athletes and Packers. So that was pretty awesome. And in addition to that, because it was the 10th anniversary of the tailgate tour, they had three legend Packers. Well, no, two legends, and then they had Mark Murphy. So that wasn't exciting. But they did have Dave Robinson and Jerry Kramer. So I got to meet and talk with all those people hanging out at a house in Sun Prairie just because I work where I work. And I reached out to the Packers and I said, hey, would you guys support this project? And they were like, yes. And the lady I talked to was game to talk to me. So it's one of those things where you just put it out there, and sometimes stuff works. And that was pretty awesome. Anyway, it was 5 years ago on this date, April 17th. A lot of fun and one of my favorite moments at my job. And I was glad that Mom and Dad could come and check it out, which was fun, and meet all those people up front and personal. I hope Ben could and Sarah could, but it didn't quite work out. They had to work and all that business. But anyway, Adam probably remembers it. If Adam's on here, he was working at the house. Sorry, we couldn't invite everybody because it turned into a crazy thing. But, it was pretty damn cool, I got to say. So just want to throw that out there as a fun memory from 5 years ago. How's everybody doing this week? How's the week been? Let me know in the comments. Let us know. Ben, how's your week been? Ben.
Awesome.
He's drinking a lot of wine over there. I'm not sure how this is going to go tonight. Okay.
It's going great.
Tell people about your week. I got to pour my beer into a glass or Eric's going to yell at me.
Well, we got our Trump stimulus check or whatever that he's trying to say it's a Trump check. Make people vote for him. It's not going to work, dude. But we got that. That was nice. What else? But yesterday, my daughter turned 14. I said that already. Been sitting around doing nothing. It's great. I've been sleeping till like 2 o'clock every day. Awesome. Of course, I go to bed at 4:30 in the morning, which is dumb, but whatever. I've been watching a lot of videos of college prospects. I can't wait till Thursday, so I don't have to watch any more of these stupid things, and then I can just watch the videos of the guys they actually pick for once. That'd be nice too. And then, yeah. Other than that, just been hanging around, doing some stuff, hanging out. Me and Olivia played. Me and Olivia, my daughter, played X-Men card game, which is a game that my wife and I used to play before we got married. Because after we got married, then my wife stopped playing games with me, which made me really sad because I thought it was going to be a lifetime of playing games with my true love. And it turned out that wasn't the case. She tricked me. But luckily, my daughter plays games with me, so that's nice. And she likes the X-Men now. We watched all the X-Men movies last week. So she's caught up and has become a big X-Men fan. She likes it more than the Avengers now.
Wow.
So that's something. Still hates Lord of the Rings, though.
Really? See, Evan is not into X-Men. I've talked to him about it. He didn't even want to check it out. And then Lord of the Rings, we haven't gone for it yet. I've been trying. I'm like, look, this whole time, the last 3 weekends, I'm like, let's watch Fellowship of the Ring. Come on, man, just you and me, because Sophia's sure not going to watch it, and Lena can watch it before and doesn't want to watch it again. So, but he hasn't gone for it yet. And now the weather's not, better and stuff. And so I don't know. I'm trying to get him to at least watch it. I think once he watches it, he's going to love it because he loves that stuff, but not yet. So hopefully we get there. Andrew said there's an X-Men card game. He's wondering.
It's old. It's based on the first movie. It had the original printing, and it's by Wizards of the Coast, which is the same company that makes Magic the Gathering, which is the biggest trading card game of all time. Problem was, nobody gave a crap and bought it except for like me and Jess. If you want to get the starter sets, they're like online for like $10 right now because it's 20 years later, and you can buy a whole box of booster packs for like $20, which originally was like $100.
Jeez.
So Justin and I bought our booster packs at KB Toys, and they're marked down to like 60% off or 70% off something. It was like $40 for a whole box of booster packs. But that's why we have all the cards. We have like 3 copies of all the cards that we need and that sort of thing. So we have everything. So you can make whatever decks you want. It's loads of fun. Me and Livy played. Though she did say to me, she's like, "This deck sucks, Dad." And I'm like, "What?" And then she's like, "I can make a better deck than that." And I was like, "Oh, smarty pants. You never even made a deck in your life, but sure. Okay, let's see you do it." And she still has yet to do it. You want a rebuttal for that? That's what you said.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, okay. He's got nothing to say.
Oh, man. Well, I'll tell you.
Back to you, Jason.
I had a pretty good week. I had last week was annoying, and we had some annoying stuff that came up this week with work, but I'm putting that to the side. I can't deal with that till Monday morning anyway. But what I did get to do was I talked to some awesome people this week for these noon live interviews I've been doing, and so that was a lot of fun. And today I finished it off on a Friday with Jackson and Steph from the Today's Q106 morning show, a radio station here locally in Madison, and they do different stuff with me and whatever. And they're really good people, and they like to joke around a lot. So it was a fun interview. We had a lot of fun. We joked around a lot. We talked about some serious stuff. We talked about what radio's doing this time, and that was all really, really nice. On top of it, maybe the highlight of the week, one of Evan's assignments for math this week was making paper airplanes. And then you had to throw the airplane and then time how long it would stay in the air, measure the distance. And you need to do that with multiple, I forget how many, they wanted like 3 or 4 airplanes to do it. And then you could, again, I'm getting outside of my zone here in math, but you could like basically figure out what the median was in time and distance and blah blah blah. Some math equation stuff that I used to dominate when I was on the math team, but then I forgot about it after that. However, in the process, I made a very unorthodox paper airplane because I was never good at making paper airplanes ever. Never, never, never. I never really actually learned how to make a good one. And so I created this kind of morphed one that started out like a one I used to make and then kind of incorporated a few other little tweaks. And it actually ended up having a beak on the front of it that tipped down. And Evan couldn't figure out how I did that. Anyway, what this thing ended up being was not a fast moving airplane, but it was I called it a paper glider because it just lofted and glided in the air longer than anything. And it just kind of hung in there, went nice and slow and just kind of glided. And he couldn't get over it. He's like, how did you make that, Dad? How did you make that? I'm like, I have no idea, man. I never knew how to make paper airplanes before. And you can show me how to do one now. And I couldn't recreate this thing. So he spent the next like several hours trying to figure out all the folds and try to recreate it. And his couldn't do what mine did. So it's the one original Falcon glider that's ever been made, which cannot be duplicated, apparently, but it's still awesome. So that was a big highlight this week.
That was an impressive story. Let me tell you.
It's pretty good. I got another good story for you, but I'm going to save it for a little later. You got to talk now. Okay, Andrew and Sarah are wondering if Ben is drinking one of Jesse's wines. I think so, right? Or is that a wine cooler, Ben?
Yeah, she went over to She went to Trader Jose's. What's this called? I don't know. It's some crap. Who knows what it is? Seiko cranberry. I don't know. I told her to get whatever she could find that had the highest alcohol percentage. That's what she came up with, was this thing.
That's good. I'm rocking my old Bucks glass in honor of the Bucks not being able to play basketball right now, and I put a beer in it. I'm not going to try to slam it.
isn't on anymore. I got a Singing Statesman.
Ooh, nice. Singing from 1999, is that right?
It says 1998. I think this might have been...
Is that the first time you were going to finish Statesman and then you kept...
No, I think this might have been somebody's wedding. I think this was like Ryan Sherman.
Oh, come on, internet. Let's go, Zoom. Don't freeze up on us tonight. It's an important show. Important show. Come on, Ben, you're frozen again. Watch this. Did it work?
I'm not back.
There he is.
Still frozen.
Oh, man. It's because it's colder in Minnesota. It's colder in Minnesota. He's back now. You're back.
Yeah, okay, I'm back. Ooh.
Hey, how many? I was going to ask you how many Statesman weddings did you end up going to in your time? Your many years as a Statesman. You had many years.
Not that many.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think people thought I was a big jerk. So, they didn't know that I really wasn't a jerk. Well, I kind of was a jerk, but I was also kind of I have like social anxiety or something like that, which doesn't make any sense for a person who actually performed, in front of thousands of people. How can a guy who performs in front of a bunch of people have social anxiety? Well, it's one thing to be in front of a group of thousands of people and singing on stage, and it's another thing to be face to face with somebody. And those are things that I'm not the best with. And for years and years in retail, I'd have to act. It's pretty much every day was me acting. It was kind of stressful, to be honest. Especially when I was a manager. It became not fun. And eventually when I got moved to the back rooms and became more like a manager of stuff coming in and out and organizing things and that kind of stuff, it was more of what I was, a little more comfortable. But so because of that, I think I went to like Ryan Sherman's wedding. I know it's Ryan Sherman's, Matt Kanzera's, and Ekis's.
Ooh, that one's pretty recent. That's not that long ago.
Yeah, and then we sang at Brendan's wedding. So those those 4 Statesman weddings, maybe that's about it.
Okay.
So,
well, more than me, but still.
I never really hung out. Like, I'm not a big drinker. So that was one of the things about Statesman. There's a lot of drinking going on, right? So it wasn't something I did a lot of. So I didn't really hang out with everybody. And then because I was in Innocent Men and I was in concert choir and I was in Statesman and I was doing stuff like that. And then I had friends outside of the music program that I hung out with, because those are my friends. My first 2 years in school were guys that were outside of, or actually my first 3 years were mostly guys outside of the music program. I didn't really build up really close friendships with the guys in Statesman. So, you know, one of those things. It's weird, but that's just what happened. It's fine. I don't give a crap.
Feel a little dark over there. Well, no, I thought you had gone to more of them, but that's fine. I mean, hey,
Not really.
weddings are a big deal anyway. They cost a lot of money and they can't invite everybody. So I didn't invite everybody either. I invited, a handful of people, and that was it.
Oh, what am I talking about? We went to Mo's wedding. Duh.
Mo had a wedding.
And your wedding.
Did I get to go to
your
Mo's
wedding?
Did I get to go? Yeah, I went to Mo's wedding. Okay.
Yeah, we were at Mo's wedding.
That's right, because I was doing the video for it. I forgot. I was working, man. I only got to go to Mo's wedding because I had to work for it. Now
That's not true.
I'm wearing blue today. No, it's not. Mo's a good cat. He would invite me to his wedding anyway. Good guy. Ekis invited us to the wedding. Now that was the more recent one. For the longest time, I don't know if Ekis probably isn't back yet, but we weren't sure if he was going to ever get married. Seemed like he probably wouldn't. He seemed fine, and then look at what happened, man. The last 5 years. Was it 5 years ago? Something like that? 6 years ago? I guess hopefully you know. Anyway.
It was a while ago.
It spun around.
Further back. It was further back than you think. It was like probably 2013, I think.
Was that at least
when he got married?
A good number of these wrinkles weren't there. And definitely not all this right here. You know what I found out today? Because some guy, so I was doing the interview with Jackson and Steph in that chat. We were hanging out. And every time I talk to Jackson, he has to comment on how handsome I am. And the thing that I figured out, though, is yes, in standard definition, I'm still handsome. But if you put me in high definition, put me in HD, forget it. Forget about it. All this other stuff shows up. So that's what I did realize today. So I'm still standard definition, relatively decent looking, I guess. Mom said this week we did a family game for 2+ hours, which was interesting and painful at times, but fun. Also,
it took us a while to get going.
Yeah. And then also we had Olivia's birthday call, which was fun yesterday. And then they watched Ben's top 10s movies that he's watched more than 25 times. And then they also watched my thing with Jackson and Steph. So that's good. Sounds like a good week. Hey, you know what did come out this week, Ben, from the Green Bay Packers was Aaron Rodgers' top 10 moments, I think is what they called it. But then in some cases it was like a whole game or whatever. So it was really kind of weird. Like some of the things were like a play, like the throw to Jared Cook. Others were a series of plays or a game or half a game or whatever. So it's kind of weird. But anyway, I thought maybe you could consider that for one of your top 10s, your personal Aaron Rodgers top 10 moments in his career. No?
Nah.
Okay.
Well, I'm not feeling that.
The
problem is this. I haven't been able to see all the games. There's a lot of times where I didn't get to see the games. So because of that, how am I going to be able to? There's probably something I missed that was awesome. And, it'll hurt me.
I mean,
sorry, dude.
All the really awesome stuff you've probably seen, on highlights or whatever. But I tend to wonder, I didn't really like some of the positioning and stuff on that list. Anyway, whatever, people make lists. It's fine. I did have to bring up a couple of things. Anybody else got anything else they want to? Oh, Burks is back down. All right. Ekis, how long ago was your wedding? We were just having a debate about how long ago that was. And I don't remember, but your life has certainly changed drastically since then. Please tell us. 6 years ago? Oh, Andrew says the other thing that came out while we wait for that from the Packers was a poll if Aaron Rodgers should grow out his hair again. This is Sarah.
Yes.
This is Sarah. The poll was yes. Why do they want him to grow his hair out again? Really? You like that early look?
Yes. He'll gain favor with me again if he grows his hair back.
Wow, it's 2013. No wonder I look so much damn younger in that photo from your wedding, Ekis. 2013. Wow.
I said it was 2013. Ha! I knew it.
Did?
I'm a genius.
You are right sometimes. Okay. Moving on. We're going to talk a little draft prospects. I want to know from you, have you heard of any new draft prospects that you'd like our take on? In the interim, before we jump into that, while you guys are commenting, Ben, did you check out Reggie Beggleton like I told you to?
Nope.
Come on, man. Reggie Beggleton, CFL
You told me he
stock.
has no. Okay, you were like, yeah, he makes a lot of plays. He has no moves. He can't really. He just gotta go straight. And yeah, well, that doesn't sound very interesting to me. I don't care. He probably never even going to play.
I wanted you to look at the tape and see if you saw what I saw. I saw a guy that, yes, had good vision, good hands, but has no real good lateral movement, which at his size, because he's not really tall, doesn't make me think he's going to be that important of a weapon or maybe even make the team.
Well, then I didn't want to watch it. Based on your information that you gave me, I decided to not waste my time. All the incredible time that I have now, I still didn't care to watch it.
All right. Well,
it's all based on your recommendations.
Did anybody else?
Not your recommendation, but your description of the player made me say, nah, don't need to watch that.
Okay. Did anybody else check out Reggie Beggleton and see what his highlight tape looks like or any of that stuff? Any thoughts on him? If you did, throw it in the comments. Mom or dad want top 10 of Brett Favre's best interceptions? I don't know. Is that how about do you want like how about most memorable, or how would you define? There's so many. How would we categorize and define them to make out a clear list? Would it be most memorable, maybe because some of them you remember because they hurt so bad or just were so ridiculous or whatever? I don't know. What do you think? Make a list like that?
That sounds like a bad list. I don't want to do.
Mom and dad are still mad at you for putting Braveheart at the top of your movies list.
Mom is.
Oh, Mom.
I don't know if dad is. Braveheart's one of my favorite movies. It's like number 1A or B.
1A.
And I Want and Immortal Beloved are my two favorite movies.
That's what Ekis just said in the comment. You were too busy watching Braveheart and Immortal Beloved. That's why you didn't have time for watching Reggie Beggleton. Okay.
There you go.
All right. You told me you got a new draft crush. Who is it for the Packers?
Okay, so here's what I was doing. I was
hold on. Let's pause. Eric had a good one. He said he wants Brett Favre's top 10 looks of disbelief after an interception.
That's a good one.
I love
I like that one.
They lined up those three when he finished, 3 years in a row, his last pass with the Packers, with the Jets, and then with the Vikings the first year were all interceptions. And they showed his reaction after, and it was the same every time. It was like hands on his helmet, like, oh, and it was the exact same thing. It was a perfect description and depiction of Brett Favre in those moments. So that was awesome. So maybe I'm sure there are more of those, but he was always in disbelief. He always said that he couldn't believe. I mean, he threw how many? 300 something, whatever the insane number is. But even though he had thrown that many, he still couldn't believe it towards the end. I don't know. Butter's drinking 2013 Central Waters bourbon barrel barley wine bottled when Ekis was still a bachelor. Wow. That's impressive. All right. Go on with your draft crush, Ben.
Oh, okay. So the thing I was doing was I was like, okay, you were saying that you really like Kenneth Murray. I was like, okay, Kenneth Murray, I don't think he's going to fall to us. So I was like, I'm going to watch 3 games of Kenneth Murray tape to find out if he's worth trading up to try to grab him. Okay. So I'm going to watch this. So I'm watching the tape of all the different games. And every time I watch these games, I'm noticing number 90 is like getting in the backfield and making plays. Whoever this number 90 is. Number 90 is like holding up 2 guys and messing the play up so somebody else can go in there and make a play. And I'm like, who is number 90? Who the heck is number 90? Well, it turned out it was a guy I already talked about already. It was Neville Gallimore, who's a defensive tackle for Oklahoma. He ran a 4.78 at the combine, who I talked about when we talked about the defensive tackles on Hafeman Bros Talking Packers last time. I already talked about him. I just didn't know what school he went to because I just watched the combine film and that sort of thing. I didn't really track him at all. I just watched the tape and I was like, okay, this guy's fast. This guy moves well, all that kind of stuff. Well, now I'm telling you, the game tape equals Neville Gallimore has got a quick move. He makes plays. He chases after guys. There's one play where he made a play. Okay, he totally schooled the guard, okay, and the center, squeezed right through him, got to the quarterback, but the quarterback was in shotgun. The quarterback was quick enough to get away and run around. Neville still chased him down, even though he wasn't as fast, right? But he moved pretty quick for a big guy. And then the quarterback tried to juke somebody, and Neville hit him from the backside, smacked his arm, caused a fumble, and Oklahoma got the recovery. So not only did he school both guys who tried to block him, he then chased the quarterback down, caused a fumble and turnover for his team. And over and over again on this tape, Neville Gallimore is chasing guys down, making plays, getting penetration in the backfield, just disturbing things. Now, against LSU, which was the game where LSU scored 60-some points against Oklahoma, he didn't do as much, but I don't think he was even in the game. He might have gotten hurt because I didn't notice him being there, and that might have been the big difference why they sucked so bad in that game. I don't know if he got hurt or what. I have no idea. But I don't remember seeing 90 on the tape at all. I saw a bunch of other guys on the defensive line, and I think it really, really hurt them. What I'm trying to say is this. Kenneth Murray might be a really good player, and he made some splash plays here and there. Yes, what I liked about Kenneth Murray was he was able to diagnose things. He really attacks. If he sees a running back, he attacks. If he goes on a pattern, he attacks that guy. He goes after him. He covers him. If he sees like a wide receiver screen, he goes from the middle linebacker position and attacks the wide receiver screen. Sometimes he doesn't always get there, but he makes a play. So if Kenneth Murray falls to 30, awesome. I don't think he's worth going up and trading for, or like trading a couple picks to go up and get him, especially considering the Packers only have 30 and 62 and then like 90 or whatever are their top 3 picks.
Yeah.
But what I am saying is Neville Gallimore, I would not be upset if they took him at 30. Or if they traded 30 back and got a different second-round pick and maybe another second-round pick and got Neville Gallimore a little bit late, like maybe like the early second round, and then picked up another pick where they can get another guy. And then they could still go way in the back and get that other guy I really like from TCU or whatever. That I can't remember his name anymore, but the guy with the long hair and play air guitar. Those 2 guys would be awesome. And I know everybody's like, why do you want a defensive tackle? Who cares about defensive tackle? Well, listen, we saw what happened last year. The Packers defensive line. You need some guys to make some plays. And Gallimore at 6'2", 304 pounds, runs a 4.78. He's quick off the line. He's strong enough to hold his position. And he can chase, and he has the motor to chase guys down, unlike some other guys. I mean, he looked like Mike Daniels sometimes, except he's fast enough to chase people down, where Mike Daniels wasn't ever fast enough to chase anybody down. So can you imagine Mike Daniels, who's able to chase people down? That's Neville Gallimore. That's my new crush. That's the guy the Packers should take at 30. Or here's another guy. And last week, or on Hafeman Bros Talking Back, I kind of poo-pooed taking a wide receiver early. But I did go and watch a bunch of film on wide receivers. And Jalen Reagor is the real deal. Like, he does make plays. He is like crazy, crazy fast. He's not like super fast, but like he makes guys miss. He's a good punt returner too. He had 2 punt returns for touchdowns this year. So he's another guy who, like, if they took Reagor in the first round or they're in the second round or whatever, I would not be upset with either of those 2 guys at all. And if they can get Kenneth Murray, if he falls to 30, awesome. But I don't think that's going to happen. The other thing was Zach Bond from Wisconsin, or Bond or whatever his name is. They get him. A lot of people are saying they want to move. People are talking about moving him to inside linebacker, which I don't know, because he was a pass rusher last year. He was an outside linebacker in a 3-4 or like a 3-4 scheme. So I don't know if he could play inside linebacker. But the nice thing I like about him is he used to play quarterback, and he can read. There are a couple of plays where he went back in coverage, and he's like, he knows what the quarterback. He sees the same thing the quarterback sees, or he knows what the quarterback's supposed to read. So he jumps on the ball. He had an interception and made a play that way. So maybe he's a guy who can learn and be a good middle linebacker. Then in a couple of years, you put him and Summers there. You got 2 guys who both played quarterback. Now it's your 2 inside linebackers. Wow. That would be pretty awesome. So those are all 4 guys. And then also, I think Josh Jones or something like that, who's a tackle from Houston, offensive tackle, who's really good. He might fall. He might be there. So those are guys at first round that if they took any of those 5 guys, I'd be okay with them. But good God, do not take Justin Jefferson. Please do not take Jefferson. No, Jefferson. No. Okay, that's it.
All right. Well, here's the thing to point out. Like we were talking about can the Packers move up and this and that if they want to, and you were just saying you don't think it's worth it. But what they have is they only have one pick in each of the first 5 rounds. They have 3 6th-round picks and 2 7th-round picks. So, throwing somebody a 6th isn't really that enticing. You can't move much by throwing a 6th or even a couple of 6ths in there. So I don't know that unless they're going to surrender a pick from one of those other rounds, like they got to really want that guy. There are some other options. Let's see. Eckes says the Pack went back in the first round to get Clay, then went back to get Savage. Any chance they go for 2 first-round picks this year? I don't think unless they're willing to surrender like a 2nd and a 3rd. I don't see how they can do it. I really don't, unless they dip into the following year's picks or whatever. But the Packers don't like to give up picks. They like to acquire picks. They don't like to give up picks. So I don't know. It doesn't seem like something they would probably do unless they're just in love with the guy. And there's some other options here. You and I just talked about a couple of guys beforehand. I asked you, I was looking at a couple of, mock draft ideas and articles and whatever. And one of them pointed out a couple of guys that might be interesting prospects at linebacker. In particular, Akeem Davis Gaither out of Appalachian State. Now, he's not necessarily a middle linebacker because he's only 224 pounds. He's 6'2", 224, but he's really versatile. He's a good pass rusher. They used him on the edge, rushing passes and also playing against the run. But they also, he's from the middle. He can be that second backer. He's good in coverage. He's fast. He's a hitter. He's a diagnoser. He's a great athlete. He's just kind of undersized, but could be a really interesting piece to like move around in the defense. And that guy has like a 2nd, maybe 3rd round grade. 2nd is as high as I've seen, but most people are saying he's more like a 3rd rounder. And that could be a potential linebacker that you fill in next to Kirksey, or that you figure out whether Summers can play or who else can play and how you use that guy. So what do you think of him, Ben? What do you know?
Yeah, I mean, he's another one of the guys I looked up on just this week, and like what I saw, I watched 2 full game tapes of Akeem Davis Gaither, and they got him listed inside linebacker. But to be honest, most of the time, because of the conference he plays in at Appalachian State, he was going up against a lot of spread offenses, and they had him playing straight up man against the slot. He did, and he held his own. He was good in pass coverage, no doubt about it. And then, like you said, on 3rd down, they put him at outside linebacker and had him blitz the quarterback as a pass rusher on 3rd down. So it was weird, and so he's kind of playing like that hybrid, like kind of like Micah Hyde played, to be honest, or like Raven Green, or even Chandon Sullivan last year, where he plays a long line of scrimmage. He played like a slot defender who also defended against the run on 1st and 2nd down, and he did a great job. But the only thing is, he never really played like middle linebacker. He always played on whatever side that the receiver was lined up in the slot. He'd play there. So I don't know if he's a guy who can play, middle linebacker and understand that he's got so much like traffic going on in front of him, and he has to weave and decide what to do with all that traffic in front of him. He's never done that. He's only done things where he's got one guy in front of him, and then the quarterback's over here, and he's got to watch his guy in front of him, watch the quarterback, and make a play. And if he's a pass rusher, he looks at the quarterback and he goes and makes a play. So that's really all he's ever done. I don't know if he's ever, like I said, he's not been the kind of guy. Like when you play middle linebacker, you got to worry about everything. Mm-hmm. There's things moving all around you. Offensive lineman, defensive lineman, everything's changing. You look for guys in the slot. You look for tight ends come out of the backfield. You look for the running back come out of the backfield. These are none of the things he ever had to worry about. So he's not a replacement for Blake Martinez. No. He is a great player, and he made great plays. So he would be kind of like that, like you were saying when we talked before we went live here with Owen Burks. He's kind of like, he would be the guy who Owen Burks was supposed to be, who never turned into. That's what Davis Gaither would be. Another guy I found that I really liked was Willie Gay Jr. Now he, from Mississippi State, was a middle linebacker, 6'1", 243. So he's got some size, he's got some bump, he's got super speed. He made a lot of plays around the offensive line. He was able to avoid offensive linemen, but sometimes he would take bad angles and miss the play altogether. so he doesn't always like make the great read, but he was super quick and he could get off blocks, which is something that Owen Burks can't do. We talk about that over and over again. But he would attack the line of scrimmage. Just sometimes he'd attack the wrong spot. The other problem was he got suspended for 8 games because of cheating on a test or something like that. So he didn't play for 8 games last year. So I don't know. It's like the opposite of Kenneth Murray. Kenneth Murray is like a stand-up guy, awesome, super great guy. This guy, he's got some questionable stuff he's done, but what are you going to do there? I don't know. But as far as a physical athlete and the guy who can play middle linebacker, take on offensive linemen, shed the block, attack the line of scrimmage, this guy can do it, but I don't know if he can read things. And that's why he's he's not really a first, he might be like a late second round, third round pick because of those reasons. But these are 2 guys who, that you've mentioned and then Gay here, who are guys who are physical, amazing athletes who they need some coaching, I think, to be NFL players. And that's why they're not, considered first round or early second round.
Well, the thing about Davis Gaither too that I noticed is when he was putting those pass rush situations, he's going against full size offensive tackles.
Yeah, he was.
He's 224. He's manning up against these full size offensive tackles, or even running plays, guards pulling out, trying to get him, trying to push him out, and he was doing a great job at holding his own, attacking, diagnosing, and getting through the weave there, and getting to the quarterback and or making the play against the run. So I like that. And for the longest time, right, what did the Packers lack? And they still are lacking speed on defense, not just at wide receiver, but on defense. They've lacked speed for a long time. They haven't had all these other teams now, but a bunch of other teams in the NFL have found kind of that really fast backer that can cover sideline to sideline, be versatile, rush if you need to, play against the pass coverage, tackle, whatever, everything you need. And I'm not saying this guy's exactly that, but if you think Kirksey can fill that role, then this guy could be an incredible complement and a chess piece that you can move all over the place. And he's got physical tools that you just can't teach. So he's really interesting. The other guy that I looked up was a little bit on Logan Wilson.
Yes, yeah, I was just going to talk about him.
Yeah,
I just looked up my notes on him too.
Inside backer out of Wyoming. He's 3'2", so he's definitely got the size for inside backer. Played at a smaller school, played out west. You look at the competition sometimes, but at the same time, you got to look at what the size and what the person can do. And he's kind of like that 3rd round grade too. So if they don't get, what we're trying to say is, you can tell us what you want about Wilson, but what we're trying to say is if they can't get Murray, they can't get one of those top guys in the 1st round, there are some viable options 3rd round that could also turn out to be really good players.
Yeah, I mean, my notes on Logan Wilson is he's great in zone pass coverage. He can read the quarterback's eyes and he breaks on the ball immediately. He's a really good tackler in one-on-one situations in space. So like whenever there was like a wide receiver screen or a running back getting the ball on a pass to the outside, he was able, even though there's nobody around him, to make the tackle. Like he didn't get juked out of his shorts. He didn't do something stupid. He held his ground. He attacked and was able to grab, tackle, and make the tackle. So he's a good tackler. And it's one of those things I don't know. The conference he plays in too in Wyoming, a lot of those teams, at least I watched 2 games of him. It's the same type of thing. This everybody plays a spread offense, and the quarterback's in shotgun. It's like you don't really know what he can do against NFL offenses because he doesn't have to worry about playing middle linebacker with all the stuff going on because there's so many receivers. He's not, it's all based on reacting to what the quarterback is. He going to hand it off? Is he not going to hand it off? And it's really tricky, I think, for these guys to evaluate this talent. But when it comes to Luke Wilson, I love how he tackles. When he gets his hands on the guy goes down, and he's smart. So that's another guy I really, really like at middle linebacker. The other guy who seemed kind of interesting to me was Troy Dye from Oregon. He was really tall. He's like 6'4", 223, so he's kind of skinny for 6'4" at linebacker. And he kind of did the same stuff that he's kind of like Davis Gaither is, where he played more kind of like a slot type linebacker or will side linebacker. But he's attacked and he's fast. Now his problem, sometimes he missed tackles, but he played the whole second half of the year with a club on his hand. So he's kind of tackling with one hand and his arm. So that's kind of difficult too. But that's another guy I've seen a lot of people are really high on. Troy Dye out of Oregon, who can maybe fall to the Packers in the 3rd round if they need a linebacker and they use those first 2 picks on something else. So those are the inside linebackers are the guys you've mentioned already, Luke Wilson, and then now Troy Dye are guys maybe 3rd round or so that are, I think, really good players, and they'll probably be there for the Packers to get their hands on if they want to take, like I said, a really difference maker at D tackle and a difference maker at wide receiver and or offensive line on the first 2 picks. They could probably get Dye or Logan Wilson in the 3rd round or so and still have a really good linebacker, or even Davis Gaither could be 3rd round. Really good linebacker who can come in and play alongside Kirksey. So, I mean, those are the things I was looking at because let's face it, Kenneth Murray, after Kenneth Murray and Queen and Isaiah Simmons, offensive linemen aren't quite as dynamic, or the linebackers aren't quite as dynamic, but there's a lot of guys that are all kind of really, really good. And any one of those guys will probably be there. Same thing with the defensive tackles. Like, there's a lot of pretty good defensive tackles that'll be there. I just really like Neville Gallimore's tape. So I really would like to see them take him, but whatever. If they don't, I know there's other really good defensive tackles they can get too. So, yeah.
All right. Well, Eka says that we need a stud, and he doesn't like. We tried Burks; he wasn't any good. They keep getting C+, B linebackers in the draft. They're not good. He thinks Packers aren't very good at evaluating them, but I don't know if there is a stud they can get. That's the thing. They don't have the. I just don't see him giving up 2nd and or 3rd round picks and a 1st to move up in the 1st to try to grab somebody, which would probably be what most teams, if they want to get up high enough, would want. They might get away with 2 picks, 1st and a 2nd, or maybe a 1st and a 3rd, maybe. It just depends.
Well, here's
they got to see how the board
encouraging.
Falls.
Yeah. Here's some encouraging news I have. I've watched a lot of mock drafts online too, because what else am I going to do at 3 a.m? Guess why I stay up so dang late, like a ding dong. But anyway, so I'm watching. There was one mock draft I watched yesterday. For some unknown reason, at 30, Kenneth Murray was there. And the guy drafted Mims, wide receiver. And I was like, what the fart? And then the very next draft, pick 31, the guy took Kenneth Murray and is like, 49ers, they don't need him, but they're sure glad he fell to us. And they took him. And I'm just like, if the Packers had Kenneth Murray sitting there at 30 and they didn't take him, I would not be a Packer fan anymore. I would run out the door and scream at the top of my lungs, I am now a Viking fan. And I don't want to do that ever, but I would do it. If the Packers had Kenneth Murray fall to 30 and they don't take him, that would be duh.
Wow. That's a strong statement. Wow. That's something.
Well, it's dumb. I can only handle 2 dumb moves 1 year. I can handle Rashawn Gary last year. Okay. But if they skip on Kenneth Murray when he falls all the way to 30, no.
Ah, man. I did also kind of through the winds a little bit of the internet, or I don't know, Eric helped me out. For the record, Eric posted that Brett Favre has 336 career regular season interceptions. I don't think that includes the playoffs. Anyway, just to kind of finalize that point. But the one thing that I'm kind of hearing is that the Vikings are also interested in Davis Gaither. So the Vikings are pretty good at figuring out good defensive players usually. So if that's true, maybe that's a little bit of a plug for him. And again, it's the speed, man. You can't coach the speed. You can coach up guys in other ways. They can lift more weights. They can get bigger still. A lot of these guys are young enough. They can put on some additional weight if that's what you want them to do. But athleticism, speed, instincts, can't coach that stuff. You can't. And that guy, I think, has
the Vikings.
So
the Vikings need a wide receiver bad because they traded away one of their good receivers.
Is this stuff about
and they also
OBJ?
They need some corners.
Is this stuff about OBJ to the Vikings? Is that for real? I saw a headline on it. I didn't look at the story though.
That's what everybody's saying.
Anybody know on that?
People want that to happen. It's not going to happen. Nobody wants him because he's too much of a head case.
Yeah, he's a pain in the butt.
They got rid of Diggs because he's a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Why would they take a guy who's even bigger pain in the butt? It makes no sense.
It doesn't seem like it would fit with Mike Zimmer. Like, I don't think Mike Zimmer would want to deal
Mike
with that.
Zimmer
at all.
yeah. Zimmer ain't deal with that crap. No way. No way. Especially when there's so many good receivers in the draft. They will draft the receiver who will be a day 1 starter, and they just hope that it's not as bad as Treadwell.
Oh,
Vikings.
Vikings had some stinky ones. Stinky ones in the first round. Christian Ponder, wasn't he a first rounder? Treadwell. Uh who else? Come on, Vikings fans, you know the painful ones. Go ahead and give them to us.
Who's the guy they drafted after they got rid of Randy Moss? Sass, remember that guy?
I don't know.
There's a guy. Remember they drafted.
However,
I can remember his name. He was really bad though.
they have also done things like taking terrible Packer first round picks and signed them after the Packers were done with them, like Dayton Jones. Yeah, Jason Spriggs was terrible, Mom. You're right. But he signed with the Bears? Are you kidding me? Is that real, Mom? Sometimes Mom says this stuff, and I got to find out if it's for real. Laquan,
Yeah, but
Treadwell?
Mom is they get the Green Bay news.
Yeah.
Every time somebody leaves the Packers, they tell
Jason
on the Green Bay
Spriggs.
news, they tell you. So I believe Mom.
What are the Bears doing? All right. Who's done it? What Packer fan or Packer person has infiltrated the Bears front office that they're like Jimmy Graham, Jason Spriggs? Come on, man. Haha last year. Like, what are the Bears doing? What are they doing? I mean, I'm happy for it, but it's just insane. Who's running that show? Wow, that's terrible. That's terrible. All right, Ben, what would you say to anybody else? What would anybody else say to this? Because I know it's not sexy, but if there's a good offensive lineman at 30 and the linebackers are gone, what do you say? Thumbs down, thumbs up?
Here's my opinion on that, Jason. Is he going to play right away?
Not unless he can beat out Wagner, but
Okay, so the chances of him playing right away is probably not very good.
right.
Is what you're saying to me.
Probably, yeah, I would say.
So in that case, no. I do not want to see my first round pick sitting on the bench and only playing 200 snaps over the year. I want to see a first round pick who's going to make a difference in one way or another, whether that's inside linebacker, defensive tackle, or wide receiver. Those are the three areas we really, really need. Yes, would it be great to pick a good player and have him sit behind Wagner and then come in, next year and play? Sure. But maybe, just maybe, they can find a guy later on who's a good player who can learn and come in and play. Bakhtiari was not a first round pick. He was like a fourth or fifth round pick or something.
Fourth round, yeah. Fourth round, and only ended up playing because of injury his rookie
year.
Right.
And Mark Tolscher was like a seventh round pick or a sixth round pick, right? So two of the best tackles for the Packers in the last 20 years have been late round offensive lineman picks, and they played for years and years and years. And they weren't superstars, but they're guys that were very solid and very good for what the Packers need them to do. So if and those guys watch a lot more. The Packer team, the guys watch a lot more tape than we do. So there's probably some really good players who are very good pass blockers and can be great at offensive line for the Packers that aren't going to be big name guys that they can find later on, and they can get a difference maker on defense or a difference maker at wide receiver or whatever in the first and second round. And I know I've said I don't want to see a wide receiver. Like I said, I watched Jalen Reagor's video, and I mean, he's a punt returner, and he's also a guy he gets like these. It's the opposite of what you see with, I hate to say it, with Geronimo. The guy gets a wide receiver screen, and he takes it 35 yards for a touchdown. There's one play where he got a wide receiver screen, caught it, made six guys miss, went all the way around to the other side of the field, took it all the way over, ran it for 50 yards for a touchdown. I was like, what the heck? Like, you don't ever see it. I haven't seen it happen with the Packers ever, because they call a wide receiver screen and the guy gets tackled right away. Except for when they put Aaron Jones a wide receiver and give him the wide receiver screen, and he takes a 60 yards for a touchdown. So imagine having two Aaron Joneses, one playing running back and one playing slot receiver. That's pretty cool. So I would not be upset with a Jalen Reagor pick in the first round, but not Justin Jefferson. The guy does not get open on his own. I'm sorry. I watched another LSU game. I watched Oklahoma versus LSU game because I wanted to see Kenneth Murray, right? And that was when Neville Gallimore was not on the field. And I watched, and I was like, okay. And I was kind of watching and looking for Justin Jefferson because it was just the defensive snaps for Oklahoma and the offensive snaps for LSU. Same thing. Yeah, Justin Jefferson had a touchdown or two. Yes, he caught a contested ball. Yes, he did. Against corners from college, number one. Number two, he could not get open on his own. The only time he got open, and there were times where Joe Burrow was sitting back there. He looked like Aaron Rodgers. He was sitting back there for 8 seconds because the Oklahoma was only sending like 3 guys. They were playing coverage the whole time, and he's sitting there waiting for somebody to get open, wait for somebody to get open, wait for something to get open. We've watched that with the Packers and Aaron Rodgers before. We don't need another guy who can't even get open after 7, 6, 5 seconds, right? We don't need that. Justin Jefferson is not a good player for the Packers. Please do not ever take him. Please don't. If they take him, I might run outside and say that I'm now a Vikings fan. So do not take Justin Jefferson. Do not take Kenneth Murray if he falls to 30. Those are my 2 rules of Packers first round draft. Thank you. Okay.
Fair enough. One of those Vikings first rounders, Butter, you are correct. Troy Williamson.
That's the guy. Yeah, that was the guy the year that they
speedy
let Randy
guy
Moss go.
and never turned into jack squat. Ekis is of course championing his guy Kumaro. He got 1 screen, broke 4 tackles, got 35 yards. When he does, Kumaro makes plays when he gets the ball. However, Ben, and we love Kumaro, and he's on the team. We want him part of the team. But Ben brings up a good point that as a first round player, we want not just a good player, we want a difference maker of some sort. And that comes from an exceptional athlete at whatever position you're going for. So if you have one of those guys, regardless of the position, the Packers are in that. Yes, they have needs, but they need an impact player who can come in and play as a rookie and be a starter or a big contributor and can make a difference, either make their offense more effective or speed on the defense that can make their, improve their run and pass defense all at the same time. So I agree with that. I think that's what they need to go with in the first round, which is where an O tackle, I don't know. And isn't
okay? So
Josh Jones is one of those guys, right?
Yeah.
So the thing I worry about, that name just scares me now after the last Josh Jones. So
it does.
I'm like, it's just,
it does scare me.
I don't want another Josh Jones based on the last experience.
Hey,
maybe that's just me. Yeah.
I want to get some comments from everybody about what they think. Cause the other thing I've noticed from a lot of mock drafts is people are having the Packers take Love. And they're like, if the Packers should go from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers to Love, that's 3 quarterbacks in 30 some years of quarterbacking for one team. And that's never been done before. They'd have a franchise quarterback for 40 years of their team's existence. Blah, 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 blah. I want to know what everybody who's watching thinks about Love for the Packers at 30. And if you think it's, worth it, or if you think it's a waste of time. And then I will tell you my opinion after we hear what they say.
Okay. And anybody love for a first round pick is the question. And what do you think? Eka says he was just playing. He heard Kumero's kind of dumb from his inside sources inside the Packers, 1265. And but he, like, Kumaro can't remember what route he's supposed to run, stuff like that. But he loves him anyway. We love Kumaro too, man. The guy's awesome. He's got good hands. He's reliable. He blocks incredibly well, and he gets open, and he can break tackles. Eric says he doesn't think the Packers need a quarterback now, not yet. Anybody else want to chime in about the Packers possibly drafting a quarterback early? Too many other needs. Agreed. And at the same time, again, it's a very different situation. Like, I get other teams figure out, well, you got to move on at some point, or you got to figure that out, have the contingency plan. The Colts did it with Andrew Luck, but the difference with Andrew Luck is that guy was like a crazy prospect. Kevin Love is not Kevin Love. Jeez Louise. I just watched the Bucks thing with the Cavs. Actually, how did I not bring that up before? I got to remember to come back to that. Anyway, Jordan Love is one of these guys where, yeah, there's some physical gifts there, but there's still a lot of question marks. And I don't know that you make that move for a guy like that, in my opinion. I don't know what anybody else thinks. I know Mom talked about him as an option because people were talking about it. But that was when they were talking about later rounds or mid rounds, maybe. Ekis doesn't want him. They're too close. He was with the Packer report when they got AR, and he liked it. and thought he could learn behind Favre and was wrong on that, but he's on the record loving AR pick. Okay. I guess put that in writing somewhere. So that's cool. Um, look, the big difference is this. Brett Favre was talking about retirement for 5, 6 years in a row. Aaron Rodgers has made it clear he doesn't want to retire. And the other big difference is this guy is not a clear cut, like overwhelming number one quarterback prospect that has all the tools. And the other part, as the Colts have now learned, right? Like, yeah, they had some good years with luck and they had to move on from Manning and the injury and some other stuff. But where are they at now? You know, you don't know what that next guy is going to be. You don't. You can try to predict it when you know what you have versus what you're going for, especially at that position. When the guy's telling you, I want to play for a number of years yet, handful of years at least. I don't know. I don't think so. I wouldn't do it. Ben?
I wouldn't either. That would be terrible. Absolutely terrible. Nobody should ever, ever, ever take a quarterback in the first round when you have a guy who is only 36, going to be 37 years old, and is playing at an MVP level. He just made the all-decade team, and he deserved it. And I don't want to hear any more crap about it from other people who say Skip Bayless. Oh, my God, I want to punch Skip Bayless.
Seriously?
But anyways, so what I'm saying is do not. If they take Jordan Love with pick 30, I will run outside and I will claim that I'm now a Vikings fan. Okay, there's 3 things that could happen that could turn me into a Vikings fan. The Packers do this on Thursday. So Thursday is a very big day in my life, apparently, for my football love. Man. So please do not take Love, do not take Jefferson, and do not pass on Murray if he falls to us. That's all I'm going to say. Do not waste a 30th pick on a guy who's not going to affect your team in the next 5 years. Aaron Rodgers is only 36 years old, 37 years old. He is going to play until he's 40-some years old. And he's still gifted enough to do it. He can still make all the throws. He can still run a little bit. And if he stays in the pocket and actually reads the defense and throws the open guy instead of trying to wait for guys to get open, he would be amazing. And he would be like Tom Brady. And he would be amazing, amazing, amazing. And Tom Brady's 42 years old and he's still playing. He just got a big contract to Tampa Bay. That's all I'm telling you. They do not need a guy in the first round. Now, if they take a quarterback in the 6th round or the 5th round, and then they develop them, okay. But how about maybe next year or 3 years from now? Then if they want to use a first-round pick on a guy when Aaron Rodgers is 39 and 40 years old and groom him. Because here's the other thing. Aaron Rodgers' contract's not up till for the next 4 years or something like that. So you're going to draft the guy this year, and then the whole time when he's cheap for you to have him on your team, you're going to have one of the highest paid quarterbacks on your roster. And then finally, when Rodgers retires, then you're going to have to pay the guy big money. Then you can't have anybody else on your team. It would be bad. Do not take a quarterback in the first round, period.
That's exactly right. And I think a previous show sometime I mentioned that was the whole thing. These teams that benefit from it are when they have that quarterback and he's playing for them and playing well. And is on a much cheaper salary than when you got to pay that second contract or third contract. So you take away all the benefit there. So it doesn't really matter unless you're prepared to try to trade Aaron Rodgers within the next year or two, which I don't think you should do or you shouldn't do. Eka says he was 36 almost a decade ago. Dad chimes in. I think Dad says he thinks they should take a QB as soon as they can. Rodgers isn't getting any younger. Come on, man. Come on, Dad. All right.
Dad, you gotta lay off the Snickers.
He's retracted that message. He's wised up.
Good.
He's wised up.
He's listened to his son.
Or it was the beer talking. But Dad also thinks they should give Boyle at least a chance to.
Yeah, he's
to
all
at
right.
least be the backup. Sure, Boyle's. I mean, we've talked about Boyle before. I said it.
He's better than Kaiser, and he's better than Brett Hundley. We know that. Best
backup they've had since Matt Flynn. So, and Matt Flynn was a good backup. So what the heck, Boyle's fine. Boyle's fine. All right, my beer's almost gone. You got anything to close out with, Ben?
I'm thinking. So I don't think we're going to do a Hafeman Brothers Talking Packers episode until after the draft, right? Because for us to even do it, we'd just be talking about the same stuff we already been talking about.
Unless you got
something. I think we're going to do one. No,
Ekis wants something from us. He wants a top 5. Let me go back to that comment if I can find it. Ekis has a request. He said before Thursday, you guys got to make a list of like top 5 picks at either position or just players at each round and post it somewhere. I don't know. That's what the people are calling for it, Ben. Are we gonna
I don't want to.
are we men of the people or not?
No, because a lot of the top 5 are of each position are going to be gone by the time the Packers even get to their second round pick. Right? There's what is it? Wide receiver, running back, which we don't need. So I don't care about running back. We don't need one. Tight end, we don't want. I don't want a tight end. Offensive line, okay. Quarterback, we don't need. I don't want them to draft a quarterback. On the defense, defensive line, okay. Edge rusher, we sure don't need any more edge rushers. We got enough money and players in that. Offensive, inside linebacker, yeah, okay. Corner, we've been drafting corners left and right for years. We don't need any more corners. And safeties, we got enough guys at safety. So there's only 4 spots. We've already talked about them, Ekis. Go back and watch Hafeman Brothers Talking Packers. Watch the other live shows. You don't need to look at other things. We already told you what we're saying. And not only that, a lot of those guys that are in the top 5 of those positions are going to be gone. The Packers aren't even going to get to them. So it don't matter. But wait till after the draft. Then we'll have a Hafeman Brothers Talking Packers about all the draft picks.
We can
What
evaluate.
we think of the draft picks.
We
Yeah, we'll evaluate the players.
Sure.
We'll look at some tape. We'll figure it out. Jason will be able to look at tape, but he knows way more than I do. He'll have time because he don't have to watch all the guys. He can just watch the draft picks that like the 10 guys they drafted.
I like
And then
that.
Jason can tell us what he thinks. And then we can tell you how whether they're going to be good or not. And then hopefully the guys that we think are going to suck, they'll prove us wrong. And the guys we think are going to be good will actually prove us right. And then all 10 will be great. And then we'll be awesome. And we'll win it all next year. Woo-hoo!
Ekis wants the Packers to trade up to get Murray. I wouldn't have a problem with that. But again, I think they're going to look at those other options at linebacker in later rounds if they can't get him. The Packers have been usually pretty much they stand pat and see how the board falls most of the time. Now they'll make a move here and there, yes, if there's a guy they really like, but we don't know how much they like Murray, so we'll have to see. Eric says the Oakland Vegas Raiders have a ton of picks. Make an offer. Well, maybe. I don't know. I think there are options there. I just don't want. What I'm saying, what we're trying to tell you is that if they can't get one of those good linebackers in the first round, there are other prospects in the second, third round area that might be very good players, that are very good athletes, and they might be able to mold into very good players for them. But again, part of that is going to bank on what they think they have in Kirksey. That is a big factor in all of this, how the Packers are seeing it. I don't know how they're seeing that. I don't know if they have question marks about the last 2 injury seasons, and so they would be more aggressive. That might be their take. Otherwise, they might say, look, we expect this guy to be healthy, and when he is, he's awesome. So we don't need to reach to get that stud linebacker because we got this guy. So let's see if we can see how the board comes and then grab one of these other incredible athletes in the third round and utilize them as a good chess piece. So I don't know. Either way, defensive help in the middle is needed, and that's going to be important. And big guys that hustle and are skilled and can rush the passer and play the run well are really hard to come by, and they have a hard time finding them. The Packers do, for sure. So if you got one of those and they take them at 30, be okay with it. Be okay with it. All right, I'm gonna sign off. Beer's gone. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourselves. Keep checking us out, and we'll do our best. Ben's got some more top 10s coming, and he's working on songs still too, or not, Ben?
Yeah. I was listening. Brad has sent me like, geez. He sent me 4 songs already, and I got one done. I wrote the melody and the words to that, but I got 3 more I got to look at. I just listened to 2 of them today, and I really like those 2, so I'm working on those. There's one I haven't listened to as much. That one's a little bit trickier for me to work on, but they're a lot different. There's one Brad's got like the start of it is like all like synthesizers and stuff. It's all wacky. I was like, what is this? But I
Oh.
liked it because it was different. Like I don't want to, you know me, I don't like the same thing over and over again. So
Yep. Yep.
that was cool. So I was interested in that one. So I'll be working on those here soon, I hope. You know, now that I'm not gonna watch, I'm probably not gonna look at any more videos of draft prospects. I just don't want to. I'm done with this crap. I'm waiting for the draft. Thursday will be awesome. And then I want to look at the guys they take and then see what they're like about, you know. So now I'll spend more time on doing what I need to get done, which is write some songs and stuff. So
All right. So
yeah.
look for more Counter Void. The third album should be almost done then, the way it sounds. It's getting there. It's getting there. Be later this year. This fall by September 26th, the Madison gig, you'll have your release date and we can put your third album out. Why not?
I don't know, man. We'll see
Come on,
about
pull
that.
it
All I know
together.
is
Pull it together.
I know. I mean, hey, if they extend the stay at home rules for another month or whatever, which I think they're going to do, then
Get going.
I guess I'll have another month. I'll have another month to do something. I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. You guys, appreciate you. Take care of yourselves. Ben, be good. We'll talk to you soon, okay? All right. Peace out, everybody. Love you. Oh, come on, man. There it is. Boom. Peace.